Hello, I'm Steve Oliver. Welcome to the first random sessions in the new world, and I'm joined by Marc Block.
Hi,
welcome.
Steve.
Welcome. It's
Thank you.
lovely to have you on. I've been trying to get you on for quite a while.
Yes.
And
Life got in the way.
yes, it did, and
Yes,
then
it
obviously, and then the pubs all closed,
And
everything went wrong. But yeah, it's great to have you here. We've just recorded a fantastic amount of songs, and the first one we're going to hear now before we go into the interview is Fairy Fire. Would you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I mean, I normally, recently I've been starting my sets with this and not introducing it. I'll just go straight into it. But since you've asked me to introduce it, I will. Normally I talk about it afterwards.
Alright, fair enough.
But no, it's okay.
We'll talk about it afterwards if you want. We'll play it now and then talk about it.
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then.
Let's do it.
Fairy Fire.
Fairies, we are gathering together, fairies, we are here. Hail and welcome all to revel in the lights and shades of queer. For wherever we fairies are gathering, we make fairy space, wherein we may open our hearts and fill with healing grace. And we burn fairy fire, drum and chant by the fire, and we dance by the fire, and we love by the fire. We hold hands in circle together, calling each our names. Joyful freaks, hags, fags, and drag kings, wizards, queens and dames. Shamans, trans, pans, polys and poets, storytellers and sprites. Healers, weavers, dreamers, and magic makers in pink tights. And we burn fairy fire, drum and chant by the fire, and we dance by the fire, and we love by the fire. Joining hands in casting a circle, all our names we speak, breathing our intentions alight and stating what we seek. Open hearts and open minds with no reproof we share, tuning in to all we are feeling, showing how we care. And we burn fairy fire, drum and chant by the fire, and we dance by the fire, and we love by the fire. Sometimes we're as bees to a honey pot, sometimes we're lone wolves, sharing love with affection warm, or keeping to ourselves. Here we can be truly who we are, our freedom flows like wine, pouring forth in rainbow hues, our souls brightly shine. And we burn fairy fire, drum and chant by the fire, and we dance by the fire, and we love by the fire. Fairies, when our gathering is over, fairies, we must part. Until we are gathering again, I'll keep you in my heart. Though we must return to the concrete world in which we dwell, we can still hold fire in our hearts and fairy stories tell. And we burn fairy fire, drum and chant by the fire, and we dance by the fire, and we love by the fire. And we burn fairy fire in our hearts, fairy fire, and we burn fairy fire in our hearts, fairy fire.
Alright, you've just heard Fairy Fire, and as heard before the song, Marc is now going to explain the song.
Yes, I'll try to anyway. So the kind of fairies I'm talking about is radical fairies, which most people, I think, probably won't know anything about. So do Google it if you want to, and other search engines are available.
Really?
Apparently, yes. So yeah, radical fairies is hard to describe often, but it's a queer movement of spiritually minded people. It's kind of broadly neo-pagan. It's a rejection of what you might consider the kind of commercial LGBT scene. It's an alternative to that.
Right.
And the song is kind of a description of what we do, really. We have gatherings where we do the kinds of things that I talk about in the song, sing about in the song, rather.
Sure. Great. Absolutely. I don't really know where. We normally talk about the song before it's happened, so now I feel.
Now you feel.
I feel off kilter.
You want to introduce the song when it's already happened.
Shall I play it again? No,
Yes,
let's not do that. I always ask. I mean, I suppose I should ask. This is the first episode back after lockdown. We were talking before about obviously the complete lack of gigging is a thing. So, what have you been doing to keep occupied? And
well, I've been really busy anyway. I mean, part of what got in the way of us doing this interview before was that my father had been ill, and he died just at the start of lockdown. And so I've been very busy sorting out his house, for one thing. But also, my day job is doing music in hospitals and in care homes, which obviously also had to completely stop. But I managed to get money from the Arts Council to try doing that remotely. Initially, when I thought about the possibilities, that when I was hearing that everyone was doing everything by Zoom and stuff, and I thought there's no way that can possibly work. It's really interactive. I give people instruments to play and stuff like that. But when I stopped to think about it a bit more, I thought, well, okay, it could still be more interactive than people just watching something on a screen, because I'm actually, I'm there in real time. They can talk to me, they can make requests, and we can have a conversation. They can tell me about their son who plays the guitar and things like that, which people do anyway.
As if you were in the room, sort of.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it's very different just doing it 1-to-1, and there's an awful lot of people's responses that I miss. So it's a very, very different experience, obviously, but it's something anyway.
Yeah.
People are responding well to it, enjoying it, and saying nice things about it. So.
No, that's good. And as I think gigging is slowly coming back into priority, and outdoors especially, and things like that.
Yes.
Is there anything in the pipeline?
I haven't tried anything out like that at the moment. I didn't have very many gigs anyway. I was actually probably one of the fortunate musicians that I didn't have any gigs cancelled.
Oh right, okay,
because I didn't have any gigs. So but maybe that's not.
I lost one episode of this that was meant to be filmed on the day that lockdown happened.
Yeah.
So that was fortunate. I'd got everything wrapped up.
Yeah.
This is the 99th episode,
Oh.
and I was so annoyed that I didn't get up to 100 before the lights went out. But never mind.
Now I'm annoyed that I'm not number 1.
You have to come back next week.
I mean, 99 is quite a nice number as well.
It is, because it's like people who got to number 2 in the charts. Everyone remembers those almost people.
That's right, yeah.
I always ask, how long have you been playing and performing and songwriting? I've been aware of your name for quite a long time, but I think we only met very briefly, actually, last year, wasn't it? During the We Shall Overcome season, as it were.
Right, yes.
The library and
the
again
library
at
thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've lived in Nottingham for 30 years and kind of been on the fringes of a bit of the Nottingham music scene for quite a long time. There was a while I was on the open mic scene quite a lot. I had a band for 2 or 3 years, and so I was gigging quite a lot and getting kind of the name was out there for a bit. But I started singing. I mean, I've been singing as long as I can remember. My father played the guitar, and I used to pick up his guitar when I was really little and try and play it. I had piano lessons from I think the age of about 5 or 6 till I went to secondary school. Stopped piano then and took up the oboe. And then took up the guitar properly when I was 15 and started writing songs when I was 16. I wrote, probably like most songwriters when they start at about 16, you write some fairly dreadful songs to start with, unless you're Jake Bugg, annoying me. I met Jake Bugg. I have
no comment
I'm
to make.
sure, obviously, there are lots of Nottingham people who will have lots lots of Jake Bugg stories, so it's probably nothing really special. But I saw Jake Bugg when he was kind of really just starting out, and I thought that'll go far.
I don't dislike him.
Good.
That's what I'll say.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
That's very diplomatic.
No, the thing is, I mean, I said some things quite critical of him when he first sort of broke, when I was doing the radio show and stuff like that, and people were on my back about, oh, you're not supporting the local scene and all that sort of thing. And I think, as talented as he is, he was just incredibly lucky.
He was.
Because if you look around his age group of people playing guitars, I could name 10 people who could have had that break that he had, and I've got no dislike of him or anything like that. Where people think I did have and all that sort of thing, and he's a good name to when you're out of Nottingham and you say you're from Nottingham. It'll be Jake Bugg. Jake Bugg seems to have taken over from Robin Hood and Sue Pollard, but there you go. You've taken over from Robin Hood and Sue Pollard. There's your quote for the album. But I just think he got incredibly lucky.
He did,
out of the entire open mic scene and local gig scene and everything. It could have been. And I won't name every single name, but it could have been anybody.
There are lots of very, very talented people.
And I think good luck to him, and he's done very well. And people saw his dissing him, but I just think that Lightning Bolt sounds a lot like Subterranean Homesick Blues.
Yes.
And that's all I'll say. But yeah, he did well. Good for him. Shall I play? I think we better play your next song and get off this.
Okay.
Tell us about We Tend Our Gardens.
So this is a song that I wrote for my mum's funeral, and when I didn't set out to write a song for her funeral. So what happened was she lived in France, and I wasn't able to be there when she actually passed away. So I was driving to Stansted Airport to go to the funeral, and I knew I was going to sing something at the funeral, but I didn't plan to write a song for the funeral. I was listening to an old Roy Bailey recording. Roy Bailey, for those who don't know, was a veteran folk singer and I happened to be his driver and accompanist in the last 6 years of his life. And so I was. There was a song on one of his early albums that I really liked, A Fair Maid Walking, which is one of those songs about a soldier and a maiden, and he's come back from the wars and she doesn't recognise him and that kind of thing. But the tune I really, really liked, and I thought I'm going to do something with the tune, and I was playing it in the car and just la-laing the tune to learn the tune. And then I found myself singing words about the situation that I was in, and remembering from the morning I'd heard that my mum died. And as I was driving, I wrote this song. I wasn't writing it down on paper.
No, obviously.
As I was driving.
Just in case anyone from the DVLA is watching.
It was it, but obviously, as soon as I pulled into the car park at Stansted, I whipped out the notebook and scribbled it all down before forgetting any of it. And in the 2-hour journey, I'd written a whole song that just kind of come to me just like that.
From the heart, really, from the heart.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was only afterwards that I realised it's got no rhymes in it. And then I thought, actually, it doesn't matter. And I left it rhyme-free.
Brilliant. That is a beautiful story. And we're going to hear that song now. This is We Tend Our Gardens.
We tend our gardens all in the springtime. We gather flowers when the summer comes. We then set store when the autumn leaves fall. We fuel the fire in the winter cold. And bitter bread and cheese was on the hedgerows, and the word came through, I made my way home. The fine white swan flew out from the morning mist. Across my path flew then their crow. As I was grieving my mother gone that day, I took the swan swan for a soaring flight. I took that crow for the sadness in my heart, and I took forth all my hope to be. We tend our gardens all in the springtime. We gather flowers when summer comes. We then set store and the autumn leaves fall. We fuel the fire in the winter cold. For as the swan soars into the morning light, and as the crow flies from tree to tree, so do fly parted souls to light and love. Sadness comes and sadness goes, and as the hawthorn, if bitter may be now, its spine's as sharp as the briar and the rose. It surely blossoms when May we welcome in, and hope remains and joy returns. We tend our gardens all in the springtime. We gather flowers when summer comes. We then set store and the autumn leaves fall. We fuel the fire in the winter cold. So turns the circle around and around again, and life goes on and we do our best. We raise our glasses and drink to health and life, and we break bread with the ones we love. We sing the seasons around and around again. We mindful are that the time is now, when we take heed of the wheeling moon and sun. Oh, we take care of all we love. We tend our gardens all in the springtime. We gather flowers when summer comes. We then set store and the autumn leaves fall. We fuel the fire in the winter cold.
And that was We Tend Our Gardens. We're back. So before we end, first of all, before I forget, where can people find out about you? Social media, listen to your music, all that sort of thing.
Marcblog.co.uk is my website, and don't forget it's Marc with a C.
Oh yes,
Block, B-L-O-C-K.
I have to write that.
It goes terribly wrong. So yeah, that's my main website, which has links to other things. Obviously, I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. The usual, Twitter and Instagram. I'm on them, but I barely use them, to be honest. I'm also on Bandcamp, which is where my recordings can be bought from.
There you go.
And
especially on Free Fridays. Did they call it Free Fridays?
Bandcamp Fridays.
Bandcamp Fridays, or what?
Yeah.
That is a lockdown thing, isn't it?
It is a lockdown thing, yes.
Yeah.
So, and I think we've just had one actually. It's the first Friday of the month. I think they've set it up now to be the first Friday. I think maybe it wasn't originally, but now they've said every first Friday of the month. So Bandcamp, then they waive their fee, so the artists get. You still actually don't get 100% of it because there comes an admin fee or something.
Well, PayPal will take a slice as well, but
yes,
it is worth using on Bandcamp Fridays. It is worth buying. That's your day to buy.
It is,
basically.
yes, because that's when the artist will get more money.
So
For it.
Bandcamp and
Which is
social
good, and
media.
I do have an EP out at the moment, the Fairy Fire EP, which has the first song that you heard. Yeah,
It all links in. You
it's
see.
all seamless, isn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And the EP is like a taster of an album which is going to come out in October, and that's an album of largely fairy-related songs.
Cool. And is there anything in the Bandcamp in the pipeline for gigging or performing or anything?
Well,
have you not heard anything? Or?
Not really. No, I've kind of got something in Sheffield booked for October, and I'm hoping to use that as my album launch. I'm not sure yet whether it will actually be able to go ahead, but I think if it's not in person, then it will be a live stream.
All right. Excellent
in
stuff.
some way.
And if you go to We Shall Overcome's Facebook page and Skinner and Twitch's Facebook page, which I will link underneath this video, there will be you'll see former live streams,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
not live streams, recorded streams, whatever you call them, I don't know, but that you've been playing over this period of
I've done a few things like that.
oddity, and plenty more people as well,
Yeah.
including last night you played, didn't you?
I
Skinner
did.
and Twitch's
Yeah.
one you played. But yeah, so it has been a pleasure. It really has.
Thank you.
Finally.
Me too, Steve, yeah.
And I know we shouldn't do this, but we do have hand sanitizer, so put it there. It is really good to have met you at last, and to have go on. To have met you at last and to have spent this time with you. The final song, Go Well, Fairy Dust and Johnny All Day.
I know, long title.
Let's have a talk about that.
Yeah, so again, it's a fairy-related song, as you might have guessed. I used to be a nurse. I'm sorry. I know all the theory of hand hygiene.
If I don't do it now, people will comment and go, "What's he?
He didn't clean his hands." So yeah, one of the things that we do at fairy gatherings is we hold auctions, so that it's to help support people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to be there, and people auction all sorts. They bring stuff that they no longer need, or a lot of people auction services like a massage or a tarot reading and that kind of thing. And what I usually put in auctions is a song. I say, I will.
What, for that person?
A song to order, basically.
Oh, wow.
I will write a song to your specifications.
Wow, that's
Yeah, and so that first song, Fairy Fire, somebody said, please write a song about the experience of a fairy gathering. And that was the first one that I got, but the one, Fairy Dust and Johnny All Day, was actually the first one I wrote, because, anyway, it's complicated. Now, and so this one, what happened was, so Fairy Dust and Johnny All Day were a couple who were there at the gathering and who were going to leave the next day, and the guy who bought the song said, I want you to write a song for them, like a farewell song for them, and I want it to be a surprise for them.
Oh, nice.
And the deal was that I write a song and put it on YouTube, and so I had to write a song for these guys that I barely met and who were leaving the next day. So it was kind of, okay, I need to get in there and get chatting with them and find out as much information as I can. And once I got enough for 4 verses and a chorus, I was in, and
wow.
I wrote it all down. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. And there it is.
Well, that is a great story. It is a fantastic song, and we're going to play out with it now. Thank you again. Won't shake hands with you again because we've just hand sanitised, and I don't want to incur the wrath of people.
Although because we have hand sanitised, we're both clean-handed now.
Yeah, that's the point. But then, would we still be?
Would we still be? Oh, it's so confusing.
There's so many rules and regulations nowadays.
Have you touched your glass again since we? Oh,
I don't know. Oh, there, should I pour my beer away now?
No, not at all. No.
No, I should drink it before anyone else
Absolutely,
touches it,
before.
and then throw it out the window so no one can collect it. It's a confusing world, but we are all doing our best, so just bear that in mind. I think the best advice is just don't be a dick.
That's often the best advice. Yeah.
So there you go. It has been an absolute pleasure, Mark. It really has.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much.
We are going to play out with Go Well, Fairy Dust and Johnny All Day. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Lead you on your way. Let home be where you choose today to feel free. Go well, Dustin, Johnny, all day. Go well, the fairy Dustin, Johnny, all day. This song is Gandalf's gift, I'll sing it best I can. Two beauteous lads of Albion's fairy clan, Johnny all day and Dust their fairy names, gifts from the glowing heart of fairy flame. Oh well, fairy Dust and Johnny all day, let good times lead you on your way. Go well, Dustin, Johnny, all day. Go well, the fairy Dustin, Johnny, all day. In high heels, Johnny's out for a glass or two. He thinks to climb a wall would be the thing to do. You know where this is going, it doesn't end too well. He'll look back and smile, he's got a tale to tell. Go well, fairy Dustin, Johnny, all day. Let good times lead you on your way. Let home be where you choose today to feel free. Go well, Dustin, Johnny, all day. Go well, Dustin, Johnny, all day. Dust is cleaning up the van and showing folks around. A compact home for life on the road, feet on the ground. Homemade gypsy caravan biscuit tin, cozy cottage on wheels, love and warmth within. Go well, fairy Dustin, Johnny, all day. Let good times lead you on your way. Let home be where you choose today to feel free. Go well, Dustin, Johnny, all day. Go well, fairy Dustin, Johnny, all day. You look like love's young dream, you might be Darby and John. You shine into a room